What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies. We're jumping right back into the next part. Before I know it, the weekend has already arrived. It's been a few days since Sayori agreed to try therapy. With a slight nudge from me, she spoke to her doctor, who managed to arrange for her first therapy session tomorrow. As relieved as I am with such a speedy response, I'm still fairly apprehensive. Seeing how pervasive her condition is, interfering with her ability to get homework done, twisting her self-perception, it's been daunting, I can't lie. I guess just seeing how serious depression is has been a shock to my system. A part of me does worry that somehow me getting involved is actually a bad thing. Perhaps I'm somehow making it more complicated. Do I really know what I'm getting into here? No, Flam. Don't listen to that seriously irrational side. Let's look at the positives. She's agreed to get some help, so this is the first step to recovery. Yeah, that's true. Plus, I'm going with her, so at least we're making this step together, right? It should be fine. Alright. Being a chronic over-worrier truly is a curse. Being with Sayori makes me happy. It's best to focus on that and stop worrying about what could go wrong. Yeah, because after all, what's the worst that could happen?
Say that. The worst is going to happen.
Exactly. Because if I constantly focus on the negatives, well, that's no good for anyone. Stay positive. Optimistic outlook, Flam. Optimistic outlook. After completing my morning routine, I find myself sitting at my kitchen, aimlessly wondering about how to spend the day. One of the drawbacks to your first relationship is that you don't really know what you're meant to do with your partner. It's too cold to spend much time outdoors, so we're limited to the indoors. I check my watch. 10:14 a.m. Pretty early. Sayori wouldn't even be awake yet. As my gaze idly settles on the used plants in front of me, an idea hits me. Ooh, Sayori would love this. About half an hour later, my work is done and carefully placed into a bag. I make the trip over to her room, hoping that she's still asleep. As I was hoping, she's fast asleep. No surprise, given it's not even 11 yet. As I approach her, I'm struck by how cute she looks when she's sleeping. Wait, that didn't sound super creepy, did it? She's so tender, so adorable. Oh, ooh, makes my heart all flutter. I mentally chastise myself. Stop being so weird, Flam. But the way she's curled up into a ball, even with her hair being a mess, and a slight trickle of drool leaking from her mouth. Ooh, she's perfect. She's perfect. She's perfect. I don't think there's any way that this girl could ever look anything less than beautiful. The light sounds of her snoring turn my light smile into her heartfelt grin. Setting down my bag, I quietly walk over to her and gently brush a lock of her hair that... Setting down my bag, I quietly walk over to her and gently brush a lock of her hair that's fallen into her open mouth. She stirs slightly, and as my hand brushes against her forehead... Wakey, wakey, sleepyhead.
You're making it sound really creepy.
What?
You're making it sound really creepy. It's creeping me out.
Right. He's the one that brought up the whole him being creepy part. I just had to go with it. 5 more minutes. I made you breakfast. She groggily sits up and rubs her eyes, hugging the blanket closer to her. You didn't have to, Flam. I can't help but feel disappointed and slightly irritated by her reaction. I was really looking forward to seeing how exuberant she'd be. What time is it? Like 11. Yawning, she pushes the covers off and sits up. She still looks quite tired. She gingerly opens the bag and forces a smile onto her face. You can thank your dear sunshine poem for inspiration, especially the last line. God, I'm so selfish. I have such a thoughtful boyfriend who's been super considerate and made me breakfast in bed, and I can't even thank you properly. You went through all this just for me? Anyone else would be really appreciative, and yet here I am complaining that you're here. Huh? No, it's not like that at all. I mean, yeah, I was hoping you'd be a little bit happier to see me, but, well, it's kind of on me for forgetting how difficult mornings can be for you. Don't worry about it. I can tell that my words haven't convinced her in the slightest. And I don't get the feeling that you don't want me here. Relax. She slowly starts chewing on the food. This is really good. That's pretty basic stuff, to be honest. But I'm glad you like it. Natsuki's cooking has nothing on me, as you can see. How is it that you can make me laugh even when it's the last thing I want to do? Magic. I think. Maybe I was a comedian in my past life? It's a question that science has been trying to answer for the past 100 or so years. By the way, can we just have a lazy day today? I don't really feel like going outside or anything. Fine by me. After she finished eating, we made our way back to mine. We pretty much resumed our standard activity of cuddling on the sofa. Maybe my earlier worries were unfounded after all. We're both content in just being in each other's presence, regardless of the activity. I'm aimlessly flicking through the movie channel on TV. I whip out my phone. The purple one texts. Hi, Flam. What's up? Not much. Yuri carries on typing and she's taking an awful long time to reply. I get the feeling that she's plucking up the courage to ask me something. Well, I was wondering. Go on. Would you like to discuss the book with me today? I haven't read much of it, to be honest. I think the movie version is on Netflix, though. Hang on, let me check. What's up? You know that book Yuri lent me? I'm checking to see if it's on Netflix. We're gonna have a horror night? Well, I told Yuri I'd let her know my thoughts on the book with her, but I haven't really read enough of it to really discuss it. But if I can find it on Netflix, then I thought we could all watch it together instead. Oh, here it is. Oh. Are you okay with it? Of course. I'd be a terrible friend if I stopped her from coming over. Other people are out there having tough times too. She shifts her attention to the television, a wan smile on her face. Okay. I figured that if you're here too, you wouldn't feel like I was, I don't know, leaving you out or anything. It's fine, Flam. Dear God, that clown looks even uglier on the big screen. What? 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 I've never liked clowns. Good news, I found it. You can come over. Sayori is here too, by the way. Are you sure that I wouldn't be interrupting anything? Nah, she says she's fine with it. It's all good. She says it, but she doesn't mean it.
Jealousy. Jealousy.
I know, it's like, dude, you cannot be this dense.
Right.
Even I'm picking up on it, and she's not even real. One text later, and Yuri is waiting outside my door, book in hand. Hey, Yuri, come on in. Sayori's in the living room. Good afternoon, Flam. Thank you for suggesting this. By the way, I haven't seen the movie version yet. Yeah, neither have we. Should be interesting. Don't you mean, what? Hey, Yuri. Yuri smiles in greeting. I've heard good things about the film adaptation, so I'm hopeful that this will be enjoyable. Only one way to find out. As predicted, Sayori is a massive chicken, jumping at every loud noise and suspenseful scene. On the other hand, Yuri seems totally engrossed in the movie, never once looking away during an ominous scene. That's me when it comes to horror movies. I'm just like,
Lord.
oh. I know you can't see it, but you know, I'm always like, my jaws drop. My jaws dropped. I'm leaning forward on the couch, half expectant for the jump scare, and then when the jump scare happens, it's just like, huh! Fuck you. For the most part, it's difficult to read her face as she remains fairly impassive. Although a look of wonder and interest occasionally flickers across her face, especially when the monster is on screen. It's definitely one of the better horror movies I've watched. Granted, that isn't saying much as I haven't seen too many. I have to admit, the acting in this film really sells it. Both the clown and the young kids who serve as the protagonists are brought to life really well.
Oh, please don't tell me they're going into that creepy building. Oh, why would you go in there? It's just a nightmare waiting to happen.
She ducks behind the cushion, only peering out intermittently, something she took to doing once the clown was first introduced. I laugh and pull her closer. She cuddles into my shoulder, turning her face so she can still see. Out of the corner of my eye, I catch Yuri quickly throwing us a glance from my periphery vision. It's hard to tell, but she looks a little sad. I grimace a little. Clearly, I forgot how isolated Yuri feels at home. Watching Sayori and I cuddle is probably a painful reminder. Especially if Sayori's prediction about how Yuri feels about me is true. An hour or so later, and the movie's over. It's been really interesting to hear Yuri's thoughts, not just on the movie, but on the horror genre on the whole.
And that's something I admire about both the book and the movie, how both approach the present and main theme of fear. A lot of film adaptations of books tend to over-sensationalize the content, and many horror movies rely on cheap jump scares to elicit a reaction. Of course, there's nothing inherently wrong with a jump scare, but I find the best horror tends to really get under your skin and makes you think. Well, after you've finished.
Yeah, I agree. Jump scares just annoy me, really. They startle you, sure, and the build-up can be tense. But from what I've seen, horror movies make it really obvious when one's coming up. The music goes really quiet or really spooky. The character is in a dark place.
Indeed. Sadly, it's quite the common occurrence with modern horror. There's not much left to your imagination.
I can't help but notice that Sayori's been very quiet throughout the discussion Yuri and I are having. You okay, Sayori?
I don't really have much to say. You two carry on. I'm fine.
She's looking absent-mindedly at the screen.
It's unfortunate that the second part of the movie isn't out yet. It's like being able to only read half of the book.
The second part is about how the characters come back to fight the clown when they're adults, right?
Indeed, and that's where the plot really shines. Anyway, I have some errands to be getting on with, so I'm going to have to leave. Thank you both, by the way. I really appreciate it. That's okay, Yuri. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better soon. I hope you're feeling better.
Yuri turns to me.
Oh, did you tell her?
My face grows hot. In my haste to reassure Sayori that nothing was going on between Yuri and I totally forgot that Yuri's confession was likely confidential. Oh, damn. Yeah, I did. Sorry, Yuri. Didn't realize it was private.
It's okay. I suppose it's only fair that there's clarity between two people in a relationship.
Phew. I'm glad that Yuri is so understanding.
Anyway, I'll see you two on Monday. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye, Yuri.
As Yuri leaves, I turn to Sayori. She's looking a little rueful.
I hope you were right about therapy, Flam. I'm dreading tomorrow.
It's gonna be just fine, don't worry.
I hope so. I should probably get going as well. I'll see you tomorrow.
And with a wave, she departs as well. As my eyes slowly open, I can't help but feel nervous about how today will go. I can only imagine how nervous Sayori is. It's such a big step for her too. I just hope it goes well. Hey Sayori, ready to get going?
Yeah.
She's a little quiet and not quite as chipper as she usually is. The journey to the clinic is a quiet one. Thankfully, it's only a short walk away. Oh, that was interesting. Her therapist just what? Vroom skipped the whole therapy session. The hell? Oh, that was interesting. Her therapist was incredibly patient and empathetic, never once being insensitive with his questioning. He spent the majority of the session getting a picture of her current life situation, to which Sayori was genuinely compliant. I think that after she told me about her depression, it might have become a little bit easier to talk about it, given I was the first person she confessed to. She didn't look entirely comfortable, but after a few reassuring smiles from me, she was able to answer his questions. The session passed by relatively quickly, and before he knew it, it was already over. Ugh, a little tired, guys, so excuse me. Sayori is quiet as she breaks the silence.
I've heard a few horror stories about people who get really insensitive therapists, and I was really scared that he'd be one of them. But he was really patient, so it could have gone a lot worse.
She trails off into silence. I'm really proud of you, Sayori. I know that must have been really hard for you to do, what with how confusing all this can be. It really does make me happy that you're doing this.
I'm glad to hear that, Flam. I really am. By the way, can we spend the rest of the day together? I don't want to go home just yet.
Of course we can. Cuddling up on the couch it is. After swinging by the shops to get some snacks, we find ourselves back in our typical cuddling spot. It's rather quiet between us. A given, I suppose. After the therapy session, there's a lot to take in for both of us. Tagging along to the session raised so many questions in my mind, though. Now isn't the best time to ask them, though. Hey, Sayori?
Yeah?
Why don't we play something?
We don't have enough people for our board game, though.
Nah, I don't mean board games. Remember when we used to play video games together when we were kids? I've always found video games as a really good way to escape reality. Last year, when I was really lonely, I found it helped to take my mind off things. Plus, there's some games I have that I think you might enjoy. She sits up.
Sure, that could be fun. What games were you thinking of?
As it turns out, I still have some of those games we used to play. Do you remember Banjo-Kazooie?
Ooh, the one with the bear.
Yep, that's the one. Let's give it a whirl. As I was hoping, gaming has proven to be a wonderful way to get her mind off therapy. She's truly lost in the colorful, immersive world with her face scrunched up in determination. At first, she wasn't very good at the game, struggling with the controls, getting lost, and generally being unsure of what she's meant to do. Although after a few pointers from me, she's really started to pick it up, and was soon getting the hang of it. Sounds like someone else I know. Playing The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I've been teaching my wife the ropes of Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker recently, and she's really getting into it. I gotta say, I'm glad. Sayori can be really good at things when she puts her mind to it. It's almost uncanny how skilled she can be, especially as it contrasts against the airheaded vibe she can give off.
Aha! I knew I'd find that jigsaw piece there.
I laugh. She's having a great time, and it's heartwarming to see her so happy. Even if it's over just a video game, nothing will ever beat seeing Sayori smiling. You'll never know just how cute you are, Sayori.
Huh?
Just seeing you happy makes me so happy. And I swear that nothing will ever change that.
Aww. Not that I'm complaining or anything, but where did all this come from?
Truth be told, I'm not really sure. Being with her in the therapy room just now was quite eye-opening for me. Not just because I got to see how therapy works, but because it's really dawning on me that she has depression, and this is something we can't deal with alone. Of course, I believed her when she said she was depressed back in November, but, well, meeting the therapist and watching him do his job really drove the point home. I'm obviously really glad she's seeking help, but it made me think. She's been depressed for a long time, and I've only recently came back into her life. So what was life like for her when we weren't friends? Probably awful and super lonely.
Flam? Are you there? You're looking kind of sad. What's up?
Her bright smile does nothing for my guilt. I'm sorry, Sayori.
What are you sorry for, silly?
We've only properly begun to hang out not too long ago, right? September?
Yeah?
She pauses the game and sets the controller down, sensing the urgency in the situation. And you've been depressed for so many years. But I wasn't there for you. We drifted apart, all because... Because of what? Because I was an idiot? An idiot who prioritized gaming and anime over you? I can't even imagine how hard things were for you when we weren't really talking.
Flam, none of that is your fault.
She gently takes my hands in hers. And part of me thinks that, well, had I made more of an effort with you back then, perhaps you're...
Us drifting apart didn't cause me to be depressed, Flam. Truthfully, I don't really know why I developed depression. There's a lot I don't know about my condition, but one thing I know is that it doesn't really need a reason. That's what my doctor said the last time I tried therapy. So please, don't you ever think that you somehow contributed to my depression, okay? You're like the polar opposite. When I'm with you, I'm happy. You make me feel like I'm actually worth something, even though my brain tries really hard to tell me that you're lying.
Yeah, but that's in the present. What about in the past? When there were years where we didn't hang out at all?
I actually had this conversation with Monica once. It's normal for friendships to be like that, I think. You can go a long time without talking to someone, but if you reconnect with them and you can both get along as if nothing ever happened, did anything really change?
I pause upon hearing her words. I guess she does have a point, but I'm finding it hard to internalize. She reaches forward and strokes my face, gently lifting my chin up so we maintain eye contact.
The way I see it, we get along just as well now as we did when we were kids. Besides, what happened in the past was the past. If anything, the time apart made me appreciate the time I do spend with you even more.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Sayori. I really am. It's just, well, you going to therapy today made me realize the reality of depression, and it made me reflect on how much I've been absent in your life. I didn't mean to spring this on you out of the blue like that. Especially when you wanted to take your mind off therapy. It was pretty inconsiderate of me.
It's okay. It really is. I'm just glad that we can talk these things out, you know? You've been really patient with me, so it's the least I can do for you. And I'd much rather we talk about whatever bothers you than you bottling it up. After all, bottles are meant to be shared, right?
I can't help but laugh. That was clever. If you say so.
I do. Seriously, Flam, please don't blame yourself for anything, okay? I've been much happier ever since you came back into my life. I wouldn't have been able to go to therapy if you weren't with me, and like you said, well, I agree. It is a big step to take.
There's a faraway look in her eyes as she ponders her next words.
I've gone so many years thinking that this was something I'd have to bear alone. But I have to admit that it's nice not having to go through this by myself.
She squeezes my hand.
Besides, we can't really change the past, can we?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You really do have such a big heart, you know that? Nothing ever changed with you.
And that's never going to change. It's moments like these that really bring out a warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me. I never felt anything like this before, but it feels so right. It's like electricity coursing through my blood veins, and I'm turning into the Doctor from Dead by Daylight.
Now, I think we have some jigsaws to collect.
Of course. Let's get back to the game, shall we? She reaches for the controller and starts playing once more. Within seconds, we're whisked away into a world of childhood memories. The feel of her warmth in my arms, the sound of her innocent laughter, and the smell of her hair. The little voice of guilt remains, but it's now easier to ignore it.
Wow, it's super late already. And tomorrow's a school day as well. No fun.
Tell me about it. Monday mornings are the absolute worst. Not even the Sakurai can save them.
I just want another break.
We just had our Christmas one.
I know. Oh well. Anyway, I should get going.
Oh, leaving so soon? My attempt at pulling puppy dog eyes causes her to laugh and shake her head.
But it's late!
I reach toward her and pull her into an embrace, in a playful attempt to stop her from leaving. I push her back down onto the sofa, wrapping my arms tightly around her body. Mwahahaha, you've fallen into my grand trap. Now there's no escape.
Ah, you've caught me! Whatever can I do?
Nothing. My mastermind plan is absolutely foolproof.
Is it Sayori proof?
What do you... Her lips meet mine, and immediately I'm taken away into another world. Man, it's almost scary how powerful the sensation is whenever we kiss. No fair.
Are you complaining? If you prefer, I could just...
Her tone is innocent and plainful.
not kiss you again.
Hey, I didn't say that. Okay, you win. But there's one thing you didn't prepare for.
Oh? And what could that be?
I quickly boop her on the nose. I boop the snoot. Boop.
Oh, what? Surprise sneaky boops aren't allowed.
Oh, but surprise sneaky kisses are?
You had me trapped. It was just self-defense.
So was my boop.
This isn't over, meanie.
Looking forward to our rematch then. I reach over and check my phone. It's almost midnight. As much as I hate to admit it, we probably should call it a day. Although, having said that, an idea just popped into my mind. Okay, Sayori. How about... You know what? Balls deep. Go big or go home. You can, stay the night. Why don't you stay the night?
Here?
That way we can also make breakfast tomorrow morning before school.
Ooh. I didn't think of that. Where do we sleep, though?
Well, I was thinking I could take the sofa and you can have my bed.
Nuh-uh. There's no way I'm letting that happen. You can sleep with me.
There's an awkward silence for a second, made slightly comical by the fact Sayori hasn't realized the implications of her words.
Oh! Sorry! I didn't mean it like that. You know what I meant. Anyway, I'm just gonna get my stuff from my place, so I'll be back in a second.
Alright. Okay. After completing my bedtime preparations, I rarely slide into bed, thinking about the conversations that took place today. There's been a lot to take in. I suppose, ever since Sayori became my girlfriend, there's always been a nagging fear that I'm getting into something that's way beyond me. Going to therapy has helped dispel that worry, though. Today was relatively smooth, and I'm hoping that doesn't change. Faintly, I hear the click of the front door, followed by footsteps.
I'm just gonna get changed and I'll join you.
As Sayori approaches the bed, I can't help but notice how nice her legs look in those shorts. Won't you be cold in those pajamas?
Nope. I have you to warm me up, remember?
I'm suddenly very grateful that I have the blankets covering my body. She slides in next to me, pulling the blanket over herself. Slowly, she inches over to me and positions herself so that the top of her head lies just below my chin. Perfect position. Resting her head on my chest, she looks up at me, moves in for a quick kiss, and giggles. At such proximity, I can hear her heartbeat. Her hands feel soft and warm against the fabric of my shirt. She's incredibly warm, but it isn't overbearing in the slightest. On instinct, I wrap my arm around her body and rest my face atop her hair. Good night, Sayori. I plan to kiss on her forehead.
Good night, Flam. No.
Oh. Suddenly, I'm pulled out of my sleep by what appears to be sobbing. As I slowly fight the grogginess, I'm also aware of a slight dampness on my chest. I hate it when Sayori has a nightmare. The feeling of powerlessness, the sound of her tears, the look of anguish on her face, it always hits hard.
Why can't you hear me? I need you. Come back. Please come back.
Sayori? I gently shake her. Shh. Sayori, it's okay. I'm here. It's okay. I hold her as she carries on whimpering. She clings to me even harder, shaking with fear. I can only imagine what's going on inside her head. I fumble for my phone. The blinding glare tells me that it's 7:01.
Flam?
It's me, Sayori. You're just having a nightmare. Don't worry, I've got you. I stroke her hair softly as her crying subsides.
That was horrible.
What happened? She takes deep breaths and composes herself.
Everything was so dark. You, Yuri, Monica, Natsuki, you were all there. But whenever I tried to talk to you, it was like there was an invisible bubble around me. None of you can hear me, but there was this shadowy figure that kept talking to me.
Fresh tears fill her eyes once more.
It kept saying horrible, horrible things. It told me that I was useless, and that everyone would be so much better off if I wasn't around. That you'd be much happier with Yuri. And that therapy is pointless, and I'm just fighting a losing battle. It's nothing more than false hope, no matter how hard I try to believe otherwise.
She sniffles.
I tried calling out to you, to the girls, to anyone. But it was just me and the voice tormenting me, telling me everything that I've been trying so hard not to believe. It felt so real, Flam. So real. Just when I thought things might have a chance of being okay again. I hate this. Why can't I just be normal? It's already 7? I'm sorry, Flam. I just can't go to school today.
It's okay. I won't go either.
Huh? But what about...
I couldn't care less about that. There's no way in hell that I'm going to leave you alone after what you've just experienced. I can miss the odd day off of school. It's fine. She opens her mouth to protest, but upon seeing the steely resolution on my face, she reluctantly abates. I'll get you some water. Be back in a second.
I don't know why I'm like this, Flam. Why is it that something as stupid as a little nightmare makes me feel this bad? I was hoping that finally there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But that was just naive of me, wasn't it? It's okay. You don't have to say anything, Flam. I know you feel like you have to say some magical words to make me feel better, but all you have to do is listen. What really hurt me was that voice telling me that you'd be much better off with Yuri as your girlfriend. I'm trying really hard to believe that I'm a good girlfriend and that I'm worth your time, but those doubts are always there, in the back of my mind. I know you'd never break my trust, but I just wish I could convince my stupid brain to see it the same way. And it's so unfair because I can see how hard you're trying. Please believe me when I say I really appreciate you, Flam. I'm just so scared that it might all be for nothing.
What do you mean?
Well, what if I never get better? What if I'm always going to be like this? My pieces are all broken. You're trying so hard to put them back together, but what if you can't? What if you can't put them back together because some of them are gone?
I don't have an answer for that. And this is getting really deep, guys. There are times when I feel that, just that big sensation of hopelessness that I just don't know if I can be fixed.
I hate feeling like this. Feeling like I've lost something that I'll never get back. No matter how good your support or how well therapy goes. I can't remember the last time I wasn't so tired, Flam. That's the worst part about depression. The exhaustion that never goes away. An exhaustion that sleep can never fix. The only good thing about sleep is that it's an escape from my mind. At least for a few hours. Well, when I don't have nightmares. I'm just so tired of it all.
Tears slowly start leaking down her face once more. Her face looks utterly resigned.
I wish that I could just wake up one day and actually have hope.
She faces me with a sad smile. Her cheeks glisten with tears.
Actual, genuine hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, things might be okay. Just when I begin to think that could be true. Days like these happen. I hate these days. I hate these days so much. Therapy is already hard enough, and these nightmares make me feel like what little progress I've made has been reset. All the doubts that I try so hard to keep in check break free, and they're merciless.
I wipe away a few of her tears and gently grasp her hands in mine. We will get through this together, Sayori. Just like I said, I don't care how long it takes or what we have to endure. It's a promise. But I'm never going to stop until we see this through. She looks away. Why is it that I never feel like I'm actually getting through to her? I have to try and stay positive for both of our sakes. Even though seeing her like this is one of the most demoralizing things on the planet. No matter what, you'll never be alone in dealing with this. And if your pieces are broken, we'll create new ones. I can imagine how hard it is for you.
Really, Flam? How can you possibly know what it's like to feel how I'm feeling? Exactly. You don't. You don't know what this feels like. The constant numbness, the constant feeling that no matter what I do, the shadow will always be here. Crying myself to sleep, waking up in tears, having to fake everything because you're terrified that people will see the real you.
But I've seen the real you, and
you're still here, and you're still trying to help. I get it. I really do. I know you're trying to help, but it's hard to see your encouragement as anything more than just empty words. This isn't something you can fix just by saying the right stuff.
She burst into tears once more.
Stop it, cat. As much as I wish it was.
I scoop her into a hug. She tries to push me away initially, but I hold firm, holding her closer to my chest. She eventually gives in and sobs unrestrainedly into my chest.
I'm scared, Flam.
I whisper softly in her ear as I gently stroke the back of her head. I know, Sayori. I'm scared as well. We both fall silent, with only the sounds permeating the room being the sound of her anguished cries. Sayori? She mumbles into my chest. I'm sorry if I say the wrong things. I just don't know what the right things to say and do are. This whole thing is just totally alien to me, and after you told me that my words are pretty much empty, well, I'm starting to doubt everything. She winces slightly as she bites her lip.
Sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It came out much harsher than I intended. I want to believe what you say, I really do. I know that I shouldn't feel jealous and that I shouldn't compare myself to the other girls. I want to believe all the lovely, reassuring things you say to me, but I can't. I know that what you're saying makes sense. It's just internalizing it is a whole other story. It's not your problem. It's all on me, being unable to get over this stupid thing.
Depression isn't just a stupid thing, though.
I know. It's much more than that, but I just can't help how angry it makes me. I just want to be normal, like everyone else. It's like I'm not in control of my own body. The depression is the one that chooses my mood for the day. It chooses how I react to things and what I say. Like the day you made me breakfast. I really wished I was appreciated from the start instead of being irritated that you were in my room so early. It's so unfair. I keep going on and on about it and...
Don't ever apologize for venting about your depression, Sayori. I know that my words probably don't sound as reassuring and helpful as I want them to be, but one thing that'll never change will be my willingness to listen. You've been battling this alone for so long, so it's only fair that I can be a shoulder to cry on. Problem shared is a problem halved, right? Well, it's obviously not that simple in this case, but it's something. She sniffles and nods slowly.
It does help to at least be able to talk about it.
That's something then.
Having you around, as much as I don't think I deserve your support, it does make a difference.
That makes me happy then.
Really?
Yeah. It might not be a huge help, but it's still some help, surely. She pauses to reflect. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I guess so.
She nods and shifts herself so that her head lies on my lap. Once she settles, I start absentmindedly stroking her hair. My mom told me there would be days like these. Oh, back in November, after our fight, I was a bit lost. I didn't know who to turn to, so I asked my mom for advice.
What'd she say?
She said if you date someone with depression, you'll have good days like the ones we've had before, and bad days like today, I guess. Sayori falls silent once more. She looks a little reflective, and thankfully doesn't seem to mind that I told Mom about her condition.
Does she have depression herself?
No, she dated someone who had in the past. It's kind of spooky how accurate her advice was.
What was it?
She told me about how important it is to be patient and understanding for a start.
Which you have been.
Yeah? I don't know. I still have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't really know if I'm saying or doing the right things. I thought I was, but after you told me that my words are just empty, I'm starting to doubt everything. A lot of regret flashes across her face.
Sorry. I didn't mean that. For what it's worth, you've been a great boyfriend, Flam. It's just not fair on you. Your heart has always been in the right place, and you put up with my moods.
Well, that's reassuring to hear, at least.
And all I can do in return is snap at you for the smallest of things.
I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Mom did warn me. And being honest with you, it's times like these that make me realize just how serious depression is. But I'm glad I got the wake-up call sooner rather than later. Neither of us really know what we're doing. But at least we have each other, right? It's also our first relationship, so we've Really been fighting an uphill battle from the start. I've definitely enjoyed my time with you so far, and you think I'm a good boyfriend, so we could be doing a lot worse.
I don't know. Could we? I feel like our relationship has just been you putting up with me. Do we have a future together?
Her words cut deep, knowing that she has these doubts, especially this early on. What do you think? Honest question.
I don't know.
Do you want us to have a future together?
Yes?
So do I.
But what about when we start our last year in school? Or when we leave school? What if you go to university and I don't? What if...
Sayori, listen to me. Let's just take our relationship one day at a time, okay? You could probably drive yourself crazy by trying to predict the future. Do I know if we'll be together in a year? Truthfully, I don't. I have no clue what life will be like after school. But there's no point worrying about it now because it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
She gives a short, humorless laugh.
I'm glad that one of us can think rationally.
Yeah. Remember how I thought we'd let a spirit loose in the classroom back in October? That was the polar opposite of rational.
I really enjoyed that day. It was nice to dress up in silly costumes and scare each other. A real throwback to our childhood.
Definitely a highlight of the year, along with Christmas. There's something really satisfying about seeing someone light up when they unwrap a present you got them. I have the photo you gave me in my room, by the way. It always makes me smile whenever I see it. Even when you're not physically around, you still make me happy. Please don't forget that.
Thank you, Flam. I'll do my best.
It's been about 2 weeks since that nightmare caused Sayori to have a breakdown. By this point in our relationship, I've really started to see what Mom warned me about. I didn't realize how bad the bad days would be. We've had a few therapy sessions since, and I was hoping the sessions went smoothly. Well, as smoothly as they could go, I guess. Along with her doctor prescribing her antidepressants. Almost done. The therapist has given Sayori a diary, which she's meant to use by recording her happy and sad thoughts. By recording her sad thoughts, he's working with her to see whether those thoughts are supported by facts, basically trying to challenge her depressive thinking. I'm no expert, but it looks to me like that's the kind of therapy she needs. It's not been as simple as it might seem, but to me, it looks like steady, but sure, progress is being made. To say the least, it's a huge relief. She's also tentatively mentioned that she'd like to start going to the sessions alone, although she isn't quite at that stage yet. She said she'd see how she feels by the time the next one comes about. Still, it's been really interesting to see what therapy really entails. Definitely an eye-opening experience. On the other hand, I think the other club members' girls are starting to get a little more suspicious. There have been a few days where Sayori's depressive moods become a little more apparent in school, and they were concerned for her. Still, Sayori maintained her walls. I felt bad about how in the dark the other girls were, but it isn't my position to say what's going on. Hopefully Sayori will be comfortable telling them in her own time. Also, given it's now February, I've had to pay a little more attention to school matters. Namely, the end of the semester next month. Sakurai has also been talking to students about their future plans. It's scary to think that next year is my final school year. He wants to see me after the lesson ends, so for what feels like the first time in forever, I started to think about what I want to do after I leave school. As the bell rings, he calls me over. I'm saving it right here, just in case. You have the same look that I had on my face when my homeroom teacher wanted to talk to me about my post-school plans. I appreciate his use of humor in the situation. He's always been efficient at helping me feel at ease, especially in situations where I felt out of my depth. If you don't know what you want to do, I wouldn't worry about it too much. After all, you're just a second year, so you do have another year to figure it out. Having said that, do you have any idea at all? To be honest with you, sir, I haven't really given it much thought at all. The past 5 months have been really, well, they haven't really given me much time to think about it. Well, let's try this from another angle. Does higher education interest you at all? Going to university? Or would you perhaps be more inclined towards finding a job as soon as you leave school? I paused for a moment to think, trying to recollect what my parents used to tell me when we had this kind of conversation. University sounds good, although I'm not sure what I'd study. He nods approvingly. You'll definitely find it easier to land a job if you have a degree under your belt. That's good to know, then. All I have to do is pick a subject, I guess. I know it could be a little daunting, especially when you aren't sure. My advice would be to go with a subject you enjoy and do well in. Far from me to be biased, but you are a rather talented historian. I chuckle. What can you do with a history degree, though? The skills you get from a history degree can transfer to a lot of other fields. A lot of historians that I knew went into journalism, academia, teaching, or even the law. Obviously, I'm not biased in any way, but history is the best subject to study. My science teachers say otherwise, sir. He grumbles to himself. Those haughty scientists, if they could just pry themselves away from their Bunsen burners and glass vials for 5 minutes, oh, the audacity! Anyway, it's good that you've at least got a vague idea of what you want to do. There's no rush or anything. Just take some time to think about what you'd like to study at university. We can always have another discussion later. Will do, sir. Thank you. With the conversation over, I made my way out of the club room for lunch. Hey, guys. Natsuki gives me a curt nod while Sayori gives me a wan smile. The door opens once more and Yuri walks in. Sayori's already weak smile wavers even further. She doesn't dislike her by any means, but it's clear that the jealousy is still an issue. I sigh inwardly. I have no clue on how to solve that issue, given I don't think Sayori is willing to disclose her depression with Yuri. As I pull out my food, I notice that Monica has barely greeted me. Her face is glued to her laptop with a terse look on her face. Everything alright, Monica? She finally drags her eyes off the screen and looks at me. It seems like she's only just realized I'm talking to her.
Yeah, sorry. Had to sort out some important emails. How are you?
It's easy to spot from a mile off that her smile is forced. I decide not to push it. Not bad, not bad. Sakurai was just talking to me about what my plans are after high school.
I think it's common practice for all the teachers to ask their students, given we're second years and the end of the semester isn't so far off. Bet that was fun. We don't have to bother with that stuff just yet.
Lucky. I still don't really know what I want to do. I told him I wanted to go to university, but I can't really decide what I want to do. Starting to realize that I probably should have given this more thought.
That's a little irresponsible, Flam. Your future holds so much weight, and time flies by so quickly.
My face heats up a little from embarrassment. She's right, of course, but it seems like her judgment is coming out of nowhere. I look at Sayori, half expecting her to jump up to my defense. She doesn't, though. Instead, she idly pokes at the spot on at the table. The other girls look curiously at us. They can sense that something is up. I don't want to draw too much attention to Sayori, so I try to deflect their curiosity. How about you, Yuri? Any ideas?
I decided that I want to study Japanese literature at university.
Fitting choice. Yuri smiles to herself.
I suppose it comes as a surprise to no one. I can imagine it would be both an exciting yet daunting experience.
University?
Yes. On the one hand, there's the opportunity to meet many like-minded people, all with the same passion. Yet there's so much independence especially if you opt for a university far from home. And with that independence comes a lot of responsibility, and I'd imagine a fair degree of uncertainty.
Who knows what life will be like for all of us when we've left school. My question hangs in the air as the conversation lapsed into silence. Monica mutters something under her breath. How about you, Monica? I imagine you got a lot of choice, given how you excel in pretty much every subject. She finally closes the laptop lid with a sigh.
My parents have been hounding me with the exact same question for months now. I'll probably take over their business.
There's a hint of what sounds like bitterness in her voice. Granted, I know very little about her life. Well, at least anything beyond surface level. So it's a little baffling.
We'll have to wait and see.
An awkward silence descends upon the room. Clearly it isn't just me who detected Monica's slightly hostile tone. Luckily, Yuri breaks the silence.
Are you alright, Sayori? You've been rather quiet. Yeah, that's not like you at all.
Even Monica glances over at Sayori's direction.
Oh, I'm fine. Just kind of tired, that's all. Don't worry about me.
The other girls don't look convinced in the slightest, but they don't have much chance to press her as the lunch bell rings. I remember being in their position last semester, and boy, do I not envy them. As the end of the school day rolls around, I find myself wandering down the corridor, waiting for Sayori to finish. Along the way, I bump into Monica.
Hey, Flam.
She keeps her voice low and quickly looks around before speaking. I can tell what she's going to ask me.
Is Sayori okay?
She'll be fine. Just dealing with some stuff, that's all.
Compared to the last time she was acting off in school, you seem a lot less worried.
That was when I knew less about her. She narrows her eyes at me. I guess what I said must have come across as pretty cryptic.
Okay. Well, let me know if we can help in any way, okay?
We?
The other club members. We are all friends after all. Don't forget.
Oh, of course. What a stupid question, Flam. It's appreciated. I'll see what Sayori thinks.
Okay then. Well, I'll see you later.
Well, I think Sayori is definitely more convincing than I am. Or, did I say Sayori? Okay, yeah. She walks off, and after a couple of moments, Sayori comes out of her class.
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. Let's go.
Do you know what was up with Monica?
Funny you mention her, because she just asked me what was up with you.
Oh? What did you tell her?
Yeah, just say you're dealing with some stuff. Didn't give any specifics. They're worried about you, though. Have you considered telling them?
No, not really.
They're our friends, Sayori. They know something is up.
I know.
I can sense that this isn't a topic Sayori wants to discuss any further. Anyway, no. I don't know why Monica seems so snappy at lunch. She mentioned her parents, so they're probably being a bit overbearing. Must be difficult to maintain that model student image when you're at the top. The only place to go from there is down. Juggling academics with sports and other extracurriculars must be really stressful. I don't know how she does it, to be honest. I felt a little sorry for Natsuki, though. The conversation kind of excluded her. I know for sure that when I was a first year, post-school plans haven't crossed my mind.
Yeah, I thought that too. Well, we'll make sure to include her next time.
Good shout. After dumping our things inside, I pull out my phone. I really should have talked to Mom a while ago, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna make me feel bad about it. Hey, Mom.
Ah, Flam. Nice of you to remember you have a mother.
I winced slightly. I knew this was coming. I know. I really should have called you earlier. It's not that I didn't want to or anything. Anyway, Sayori is with me right now. Do you want to say hello?
I'd love to.
I press a button on my phone which transforms the call into a video call.
My goodness, is that really you, Sayori? Last time I saw you, you were barely a teenager.
Sayori laughs shyly. I guess I am putting her on the spot here a little.
Hi, it's really nice to see you again. And you, dear, I hope Flam has been treating you well.
I should say her a desperate look. This could be a perfect opportunity to enact some revenge for all the times I teased her.
Of course, he's been really good to me. That's lovely to hear. Looks like my little prince has truly matured.
They share a laugh as I turn slightly red from embarrassment. Mom? Really? Little Prince?
I'm sorry, darling. I'm just so proud of you.
Well, at least we've established what Sayori is going to be calling me for the next few days. They continue to giggle at my expense.
He's always been like this, hasn't he? Quick to tease others, but once they do it to him, he gets all huffy.
Sayori, do not take her side. You're my girlfriend. She's trying and failing to keep a straight face.
Okay, no more teasing. Sorry, I just had to get you back for not calling me for so long. How did your December exams go?
I briefly described my results along with Sakurai's comments.
Well, that's reassuring to hear. I was worrying how you'd fare living by yourself, so I'm glad to hear that your academics are going well. Sakurai has a point, though. Your grades in math could be better, young man. Sayori, you're going to have to knock him into shape. He's always been bad with discipline.
I snort in derision. And you're asking Sayori of all people to help me with that.
Hey!
Mom sighs dramatically.
Sorry, Sayori. He can be really mean sometimes, can't he? Must have got that from his father.
There's an awkward silence. Things have been very rocky between Mom and Dad since the divorce.
Oh, by the way, I got some good news. We're almost finished dealing with this particular client, and I have no one else to deal with for a week. So I'm hoping to come and see you soon.
My heart races. As much as I've loved being able to basically live with Sayori, seeing Mom again after so long would be really nice. That's awesome, Mom. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. How
She's cut short by the sound of someone calling her. It sounds pretty urgent.
Oh no. I was hoping to have more time to talk to you. Sorry, darling. I'm gonna have to go. We'll catch up properly, all three of us, when I come to visit you. Don't forget it's Valentine's Day coming up really soon, and I want to hear all about how you've been treating Sayori like a princess for it.
She laughs softly and waves goodbye.
I forgot how nice your mom is.
Yeah, she's always been such a good parent. She was a lifesaver back in November after our fight.
You're such a mommy's boy.
Hey,
It's a good thing. It's really cute.
I get the feeling you're mocking me, but because I know I can't win this battle, I'll reluctantly concede.
The Ice Queen wins again.
You're a real clown, you know that?
True, but I'm your clown.
Oh my god, you did not just say that. I preferred the one from that horror movie we watched with Yuri.
Such a charmer.
The rest of the day passes by relatively quickly. After finishing our homework, we spend the evening kicking back with some video games. This has been our routine for a while now. Sayori coming over, we finish our homework, and then relax. It's simple, but effective. I'm glad that we're both happy just to sit back and relax in each other's company. Then again, Sayori has never been a high-maintenance kind of girl. Watching her now, with her sky blue eyes narrowed in concentration, God, I love her. Is now the right time to say it, though? What if she doesn't feel the same way? That'd be a little awkward, to say the least. Nah, now isn't the time. I was curious, Sayori. What do you want to do after you finish school? You didn't say anything at lunch.
I don't really know.
She sighs.
I thought that going into therapy might be a good idea, but no, forget it. It's a stupid idea.
Huh? That's not stupid at all.
It is. I don't know if I'd even be any good at it. I can't even help myself, so how can I help others?
You're good at keeping the spirits high in the club, at least. People appreciate having you around, and it's definitely more comfortable an atmosphere when you're there.
It's one thing to keep peace in a high school club, but helping people with really big problems as a therapist? You know, the really horrible things that people have to live with. It's a whole other story.
Have you mentioned it to your teacher at least? They might be able to point you in the right direction. She shrugs nonchalantly.
I haven't, no. Truthfully, I haven't thought about the future much.
Well, at least we're alike in that sense. Although our reasoning for it is rather different.
We got plenty of time though, right?
Yeah, I guess we do. The conversation trails off into silence. I suppose thinking about the future is quite difficult for Sayori, so I make a mental note not to push it. Anyway, it's getting late. Let's call it a night.
Can I be the big spoon tonight?
What the hell does that mean? Oh, I love you, Sayori. You have such a way with words.
Can I be the big spoon tonight?
Not sure how that worked, but sure. Oh, this whole episode. The big spoon. Alright. Guys. This has been a treat. Sayori is awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I'm sorry I didn't do this in the stream, but I will be streaming tomorrow or Wednesday. So let me know, and please comment below if there's any other mods that you want me to try. And it's my birthday tomorrow, so drop me like a happy birthday comment or something like that. I don't know what I'll be doing for my birthday. I don't know if I'll be able to stream or not, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll think of something to do. But anyway, like, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Good night.